Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
This morning, a man is fighting for his life after being shot at his Northside apartment complex overnight. We have details just ahead.
Plus, the nation's top doctors are already expecting the U.S. to see another surge in COVID cases in the weeks ahead following the Thanksgiving holiday.
And it's cold out there this morning, but Mike Ostragehead says just you wait. Wait till you see what's coming as we head into tomorrow morning. We hope you had an awesome holiday weekend. Back at it this morning.
Yeah, happy Monday. It is November 30th. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, a little cold, 47. Not used to that, but nice change.
Yeah, it is a welcome change around here. And Mike Ostragehead joins us now as we look ahead and probably start talking very seriously about the pets and the plants going into tomorrow morning.
Yeah, in the hill country. Here in town, we'll just barely touch freezing. But still, I mean, you want to watch out for your pets, obviously. Off this morning as of yet. We're also trying to find in this picture the full moon. I think it's a little too high. We were trying to tilt our camera up, couldn't find it, but the full moon right now. There's also a lunar eclipse that is taking place right about now. I was looking outside trying to see it, and we had some trees in the way, but we're going to try and find that as the moon begins to set just a little bit. It's beautiful out there right now, 47 degrees, 40 in Comfort. Like I said, we will continue to cool down. We do have a little bit of a breeze, however, and also there is a freeze warning in effect this morning for parts of the hill country. Now, this one down here to the south and east, this is for tomorrow morning. Came out of the Corpus Christi Weather Service office. They're already getting really ahead of the game as far as issuing that freeze warning for tomorrow morning. This is for this morning up until 9 o'clock, and where you really have had widespread freezing, and if there is widespread freezing this morning in the hill country, then no more warnings will be issued, and wouldn't be surprised if we have a lot of warnings issued then later on today for tomorrow morning. There's also a breeze out there this morning, wind out of the north at about 10-12 miles per hour. It's going to be breezier this morning. Excuse me. So we do have a little bit of a wind chill to deal with right now. It feels like 34 at Bernie Stage. Mold is on the moderate side, and throughout the day we continue to drop down. I think we hit the upper 30s this morning. Clear, cold, kind of breezy winds, and then still going to be a wind out there, and 55 degrees with that breeze. You get in the shade, and it's going to feel really chilly. Very cold, and it's going to be staying cold the rest of the week. Details coming up in a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now this Monday morning. Here is Officer Marcus Trujillo. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, Mike, and good morning, everyone at home. Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, off to a fairly decent start. So just make sure you warm up that car before you head out. It'll just make your drive a little bit more comfortable. Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, still looking great out there. TransGuide 410, 151, you can see travel along there on the far west side, no problems there. And then Highway 90, it's somewhat traffic both eastbound and westbound running smoothly with no delays. 1604 at Bandera Road. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Marcus. Police searching for the people that sent a man to the hospital late last night after he was shot on the city's north side.
Police say it happened at an apartment complex in the 4600 block of Vance Jackson. Our Sarah Costa joins us live in the studio with more about this shooting.
It started as three men hanging outside of an apartment complex on Vance Jackson when one of them was shot. Police say this happened just before 11:30 last night. The male victim told police he was with the two other men outside of his apartment. The victim went inside his apartment and was standing by his sliding glass door near the balcony when he was shot once in the arm by one of the two men. Police say both men drove off from the apartment and they are still looking for suspects this morning. Police don't have a lot of information when it comes to finding those suspects because police say the victim began to change his story. His gunshot wound to the arm could possibly be life-threatening, according to police. The victim was taken to University Hospital. Police didn't release the name or age of the man who was shot. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. Now to a new record in the coronavirus emergency. The number of people in the hospital just hit another all-time high. And now, after the busiest air travel day since the pandemic began, doctors are worried that hospitals will soon be seeing a surge within a surge of COVID infections.
Despite the warnings, Americans gathered from coast to coast over the holiday weekend. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the details.
This morning, harsher restrictions are about to take effect for more Americans as health officials brace for another deadly surge in coronavirus cases.
I believe that the next 6 to 12 weeks are going to be the darkest weeks in modern American medical history.
A 3-week stay-at-home order begins today in Los Angeles County, where more than 5,000 cases were reported Sunday. People in the county are now being urged not to gather with anyone outside their household, even if it's outdoors.
Still have to, go out and get the things we need, but stay at home as much as we can.
I think people aren't taking it seriously enough. I think the restrictions need to be tighter, and that's the only way that we're going to get rid of this.
Across the country this morning, nearly 100,000 people are hospitalized with the virus. In November alone, more than 4 million Americans have been infected, more than twice the total in October. And health experts warn the Thanksgiving holiday could become a super spreader.
If you're young and you gathered, you need to be tested about 5 to 10 days later, but you need to assume that you're infected and not go near your grandparents and aunts and others without a mask.
The TSA is screening more than 8 million people over the holiday travel period. Tens of millions more hit the road. Dr. Anthony Fauci now says restrictions and travel advisories will be necessary for the Christmas holiday.
What we expect, unfortunately, as we go for the next couple of weeks into December, that we might see a surge superimposed upon that surge that we're already in. And when I give that message, I don't want to frighten people, except to say, it is not too late at all for us to do something about this.
And with potential vaccines right around the corner, preparations are underway for distribution. United Airlines is now shipping doses of Pfizer's vaccine. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
Here at home, latest report from Metro Health shows 888 new COVID-19 cases in Bexar County. This past week, we already had 2 consecutive days of new cases surpassing 1,000. The red column shows the number of new cases this past week. The blue shows the total number the week before. Meanwhile, the 7-day moving average now is 774.
And Metro Health also reporting a backlog of 758 cases. The total confirmed cases is 80,057. 22 deaths were reported this week, with 13 of those being backlogged. The death toll is 1,357. As for hospitalizations, 582 people remain in the hospital. That's up 34 since yesterday, with 178 in the ICU and 96 on ventilators.
4:37 a.m., 47 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, why a mysterious metal monolith in Utah desert is now creating even more of an interest.
Plus, President-elect Joe Biden getting ready to announce a new a new round of his transition team today.
And taking a look outside with a live cam, a nice cold 47 degrees. What a change, but it actually feels like this season we're in. We're going to check in with Mike after the break.
Near morning headlines today, President-elect Joe Biden announcing those who will lead the communications team for his upcoming presidency. Biden's office says Jen Psaki will be press secretary. She was White House communications director for then President Obama. Kate Bedingfield will be the campaign communications director for the White House. And Pili Tobar will be her deputy. Campaign senior advisor Simone Sanders will be the chief spokesperson for Vice President-elect Harris. White House veteran Elizabeth Alexander will run communications for the first. I'm sorry, I think that's an error. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next script.
The United Nations has condemned a horrific attack on a farming community near Nigeria's state capital this weekend. Suspected Boko Haram armed militants on motorcycles killed at least 110 civilians who were harvesting their fields in Kashobi and other rural communities. The UN also says that it has received reports that several women may have been kidnapped. Video shows the mass funeral for many of the victims of that deadly attack.
On Wall Street, stocks will try to capitalize on last week's record gains with only one trading day left in the month. November on track to be the Dow's best month since January 1987. The Dow Industrial Average crossed 30,000 for the first time last week. Could be on track to do it again today after finishing above 29,000 on Friday. The Nasdaq also set a record high Friday. Positive developments on the vaccine front have driven double-digit gains in the major indices this month as investors look forward to progress in gaining control over the pandemic. And I believe that line was supposed to say White House veteran Elizabeth Alexander will run communications for First Lady Dr. Jill Biden.
And time now is 4:42 and 47 degrees.
Still ahead, how retailers are trying to offer even more deals online following record Black Friday sales.
And next, a strange metal object found in the Utah desert making headlines again. We're going to tell you why. And welcome back. It's 4:45. A large metal that mysteriously ended up in a Utah desert is now creating even more buzz. ABC's Will Reeve has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, what is happening with that strange structure in a Utah desert?
We showed up and there was nothing there. For a moment, we were just in disbelief, like, what is happening? It was really scary. I was nervous.
Earlier this month, Utah officials happened upon this 10 to 12 foot three-sided metal beam in a remote canyon. Theories abounded. Was it art? Aliens? Massive fans of the sci-fi classic 2001: A Space Odyssey? Then, as confoundingly as it had appeared, it vanished, almost without a trace.
Kind of a hard thing to investigate, where we don't know where it came from, when it came from, or where it went.
Coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on this bizarre story and hear from someone who saw the monolith before it vanished. With your GMA First Look, I'm Will Reeve, ABC News, New York.
And somewhere out there, extraterrestrials are high-fiving each other for getting away with that one.
Great job.
4:46 after Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, now comes Cyber Monday.
That's right, but with so many shopping online already for Black Friday discounts, will there still be deals today? ABC's Deidre Bolton reports.
The holiday season is in full swing as shoppers prepare for a blockbuster Cyber Monday.
We're looking for deals, anything from electronics to furniture.
I'm focusing on shopping small businesses.
So far, shoppers spending record amounts of money on Thanksgiving Day and Black Friday.
It's easier to shop today for some reason. There's not that many people.
The deals that we've experienced in Macy's thus far have been awesome.
Consumers spent less on entertainment, on dining out, on travel, and given what 2020 threw at us, this is a moment where people are gifting and giving to their friends and family as a way of boosting their spirits.
Americans expected to spend between $10.8 billion and $12.7 billion. That would be a gain of between 15 and 35% compared to last year.
So many individuals are working from home, kids and teenagers are learning from home. And so really the only option to shop safely is from home, which is why we're really going to see a surge in online shopping on Cyber Monday.
My dad, he works out to this. He needs headphones.
Here are the kinds of goods that are priced to move. Deepest cuts for toys, computers, electronics, appliances, and televisions.
These big retailers know that they need to discount in order to sell more product, and that's why we're seeing such great deals.
It'll be interesting. Again, that was Deidre reporting. Deidre Bolton from ABC.
Bolton.
Yeah.
4:48. We didn't see a lot of traffic coming in, but of course the curfew lasts through 5 a.m. Here's Marcus with an update.
And right now, as we take a look, you do see some folks out there on the roadway, but as you said, Mark, not a whole lot. And also, it's still early. Some folks just kind of dreading going back to work the Monday after Thanksgiving. 35 at St. Mary's so far, no problems there, all the way through 35 at Pine. North and southbound lanes look pretty good. As we move on, you can see 410 in Babcock. No issues, but we do have a few vehicles out there, so just buckle up once you head out.
Thank you, Marcus. That moonshine was bright overnight, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
You were trying to find it this morning.
Yeah, I went outside.
Moonshine, you mean the sun, right? Not.
The kind in the
I saw
sky.
you with something in the background. You posted a picture of something in the background smoking. I just want to make sure that.
No.
Okay.
It was in the sky, not in the bottle.
All right.
Here's a great picture of the moonrise. And it is gorgeous out there. This is the full moon, and it's occurring just about right now, the actual technical time of the full moon. There's also a bit of this is a picture, obviously, from moonrise after sunset in Wilson County from yesterday, and absolutely beautiful. The moonrise this evening is going to be fantastic, as will the sunrise later on today. We're looking off to the west, trying to find the moon. I think it's still a little bit too high up there. We've been trying to kind of find this find it on this camera, and there's also a bit of an eclipse going on as of right now. I looked outside, I didn't see much, but then again, I was trying to look through some of the trees out there, but you might see it this morning before it does go down. Now, there is a freeze warning in effect right now up through 9 o'clock this morning for a good chunk, obviously, of the hill country. It does not include Bexar County, doesn't include Bandera County, but just going up in toward Boerne and further off to the north and to the northwest. So we will see some freezing temperatures. Now, as far as dew point temperatures, it is fairly dry out there, so that's allowing temperatures to drop down. We do have a slight breeze, though. Current wind chill feels like 42 here in town, 31 in Kerrville. So a lot of times when you keep the wind kind of keeps the air stirred up a little bit instead of really allowing the cooler, heavier air to settle down here at the surface. Despite that, though, with the clear skies, I think we will be continuing to cool down as the morning rolls on, and there will be some of those freezing temperatures out in the hill country. So as we go in through the rest of today, we stay with the very, very dry air around here. Then as going into tomorrow, start to see a bit of a rise in the humidity. Now, it's not like it's going to be feeling humid at all, but these dew points will be going up as we go into Wednesday, so it won't be quite as cool on Wednesday morning. Tomorrow morning is going to be the really cold morning, getting down to freezing, some widespread freezing around the area. Then we get another kind of reinforcing shot of cool air, so any little bit of warming we see, which won't be a lot by midweek, is going to be negated. So we'll stay on the cooler side all the way through the rest of the week and going in toward the weekend. There's the system that brought us a beautiful rain over the weekend, officially just about 1.25 inches here in San Antonio. Some areas had a lot of emails, folks reporting, 2, 3, even 4 inches of rain, or even more than that, that they got over the weekend. Now, upstream, that's what's in store for us. Not much. There may be a little disturbance trying to slide in here from the Gulf, staying well off to the east. I think we may have a couple of extra clouds around here on Wednesday, and that'll be about it. Perhaps a shower well off to the east early on Wednesday. 50 today at noon, sunny skies. You want to keep a jacket handy all day long. 55 for a high temperature. Still a bit of a breeze out there, not overly windy. It'll be windier this morning, but yeah, it's going to be definitely feeling kind of nippy, especially if you're in the shade. And then tomorrow, going for 30 here in town. That'd be the first freeze, and just about right on track as far as our average first freeze. Then not as cool Wednesday morning, but we get that sort of reinforcing shot of cool air, and all those temperatures are below their respective normals all the way through the weekend.
Also in the forecast tomorrow, Mike, a 100% chance of freshly shaved faces.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
We have somebody coming on live today to give me a nice close shave.
Oh, that's good, Lucky. Can they squeeze in one more? I'll talk to you about it during the break.
You have to schedule it in, Mark.
Right.
But we've raised a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we still are.
So
Yes.
We still are.
That's the plus side. Thank you, folks.
Yeah. You look much more like the Gorton's fisherman this year than last.
If I keep going, I could be one of Santa's helpers.
Probably already are. 452, 47 degrees.
And coming up next, to look back at the life of the actor who helped bring one of the most iconic movie characters to life on the big screen.
Here are your lottery numbers. Pick 3, 243, Fireball 4. Daily 4 number 6139, Fireball 6.
Cash 5, we have 15, 16, 17, 24, 28. And Lotto Texas, 9, 13, 17, 20, 26, 28. Your Powerball numbers, 8, 12, 18, 44, 51, Powerball 18, Power Play 2. Good luck.
Hollywood remembering the man inside the suit of one of the most iconic villains in film history.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
James Earl Jones famously provided the voice of Darth Vader, but at over 6 feet 6 inches tall, Dave Prowse provided the stature. He wore the iconic black armor cape and face-obscuring helmet in the original Star Wars films. British-born Prowse was a championship weightlifter when he got the part, and even helped train Christopher Reeve for his title role in 1978's Superman. Dave Prowse died Sunday of undisclosed causes. He was 85. Marvel's Black Panther now opens with a tribute montage of star Chadwick Boseman, who died in August. It debuted on Disney Plus Saturday night, shortly after Disney Executive Chairman Bob Iger tweeted the news. Disney's the parent company of ABC News. The animated sequel, The Croods: A New Age, earned $19.2 million over the extended holiday weekend, good for a first-place debut. And Kaylee Cuoco's 35 Monday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
And time now is 4:57 and a chilly 46 degrees.
Still ahead, as President-elect Joe Biden is set to take the oath of office in 51 days, he continues to fill out his new White House team.
Plus, how many businesses are putting up even more deals today for Cyber Monday? We're going to take a look at some of the best deals. That's ahead in Tech Bites.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
President-elect Joe Biden making key announcements about his White House team. I'm ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. The latest on the transition coming up.
And outside with live cam, mid-40s here in town. We'll check on temperatures around the viewing area coming up right here on GMSA.
Hi, good morning. It is Monday, November 30th, and when you grab your jacket, make sure you keep it with you all day. It's going to be pretty much cold all day long.
Yeah, we need to check on temperatures, and boy, Mike, it was nice to see that rain we saw around here for part of the holiday weekend, but we do kick off the work week.
Yeah, it was just wonderful to see that rain on Saturday. You know, a great day just to hunker down inside, and it was wonderful. Picked up about an inch and a quarter out there at the airport. Some folks were talking about it over the weekend, how they picked up maybe 3-4 inches of rain around the area. So yeah, it was nice and good soaking rain. This morning we're starting off at 46 degrees, so we've dropped down a couple of notches from last hour. Wind is out of the north at 14, so we've got a little bit of a wind chill out there, and the dew point is down to 29, so we've got some really dry air in place, and we're only going to make it up to 55 later on today, and it is going to be somewhat on the breezy side today. So that 55, you'll definitely notice it. Plenty of sunshine, but boy, if you're in the shadows with the temperature like that and that little bit of a breeze, and even though it'll be windier this morning, not as much over the course of the afternoon, but yeah, it's going to be nippy. So like they were talking about, you want your jacket all day long. The aquifer took a nice bump over the weekend. Yesterday's reading up 0.9 of a foot, and the allergens, mold is on the low side this morning. We do have a freeze warning in effect right now for parts of the hill country, and that goes up until 9 o'clock this morning. So we're not done cooling off yet. So just get ready, and then get ready for tomorrow. Now we've got this breeze out here, so this is really kind of working against having really cold temperatures, even though we'll still get the cooler air pumping on in here. Keeps the atmosphere kind of stirred up. We're not going to have quite as much wind tomorrow morning, so therefore that's why we're looking at the widespread freezing temperatures around the area. Wind chill right now feels like 40 here in town, 37 in Bulverde, and feels like freezing up the road in Kerrville as of right now. Throughout the rest of today, sunny, beautiful, mid-50s with breezier conditions this morning. Still enough of a breeze later on this afternoon to make you notice it. And then widespread freeze tomorrow morning. Plenty of sunshine in the afternoon. We'll warm up a little bit going in toward Wednesday, and then another shot of kind of reinforcing cool air comes in here. So we're going to be staying on the chilly side all the way through the rest of the week and even into the weekend. Details in a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo. Anything going on, sir?
Well, right now, Mike, the great news is there's no accidents. So let's take a look at the TransGuide cameras. Once again, 35 and Division, no problems there for the north or the southbound main lanes. 604 Babcock, traffic's moving through that area fairly well with no delays and no problems. 35 at St. Mary's. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Marcus. Police continue to search for suspects who shot a man while he was inside his apartment on San Antonio's north side last night.
This happening in the 4600 block of Vance Jackson. Our Sarah Costa joins us in the studio with what police know about this incident. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark and Stephanie. The man was shot while he was inside his apartment, but it started with 3 men hanging outside of the complex on Vance Jackson. The police say this happened just before 11:30 last night. The male victim told police he was with the 2 other men outside of his apartment. The victim went inside his apartment and then was standing by his sliding glass door near the balcony when he was shot once in the arm by one of those 2 men. Police say both men drove off from the apartment complex, and police are still looking for the suspects this morning. Police don't have a lot of information when it comes to finding the suspects because police say the victim began to change his story when he was speaking with police. His gunshot wound to the arm could possibly be life-threatening, according to police. The victim was taken to University Hospital. Police didn't release the name or age of the man who was shot. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. 5:04 right now. President-elect Joe Biden moving forward with the transition, announcing his White House communications team led entirely by women.
And as President Donald Trump continues to claim there was fraud in the election, his former cybersecurity chief tells 60 Minutes the claims are, quote, nonsense. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze is in Washington with the latest.
President-elect Joe Biden is filling positions in his administration, announcing members that will be key in tackling the nation's pandemic and economic crisis. The Biden team revealing an all-women White House senior communications staff, with former Obama administration official Jen Psaki as press secretary. Biden is expected to unveil key members of his economic team, including former Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen as Treasury Secretary this week. Late Sunday, the president-elect leaving a doctor's office after fracturing his foot. Biden's doctor saying he suffered the injury while playing with his dog and will likely need to wear a walking boot for several weeks. President Trump retweeting video of Biden writing, "Get well soon." Trump also taking to Twitter to criticize Chris Krebs, the cybersecurity chief he fired, who said the election was the most secure in American history. Krebs doubling down on that claim, telling 60 Minutes,
"I did it right. We did it right. This was a secure election."
The president's legal team and its allies have lost at least 31 cases contesting the election or alleging fraud. And a recount in Wisconsin requested and paid for by the Trump campaign confirmed Biden's win in the state. But in a Fox interview Sunday, Trump continued to make these unfounded claims.
This election was rigged. This election is a total fraud.
President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will receive their first presidential daily briefing today, a process that was delayed because of President Trump's refusal to concede. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Back to local news. A man hit by a van on the northeast side has died. The Bexar County Medical Examiner working to identify that victim. It happened just after 5 late yesterday on Nacogdoches Road near Higgins. San Antonio police said the man was hit while crossing the street. He was taken to BAMC, where he later died. The driver was taken in for questioning. Police believe alcohol may have been a factor in this incident.
And here's a look at the latest coronavirus numbers across Texas. Health officials are reporting 6,041 new cases and 48 deaths. More than 8,000 Texans are in the hospital. Right now, 21% of hospital capacity is available in El Paso, one of the cities hit the hardest.
A San Antonio woman's mission to help others lives on even after her death. Brenda Kelly, who died from COVID complications last week, tried her best to donate her time to helping people through the San Antonio Food Bank. Her daughter Catherine says her mom had launched a small campaign to raise money. Catherine says although her mom is gone, she's carrying on her work. She managed to raise over $2,000 and plans to give all the money back to the food bank.
The only thing I could think to do is to continue what she had started and hopes that it helps a lot of people in San Antonio.
Food Bank says that for every dollar raised, they can provide up to 7 meals. Find out how you can help by heading over to KSAT.com.
And time now is 5:07 and 46 degrees.
Still ahead, it's Cyber Monday. Why experts expect holiday shoppers to break all records for online shopping even after Black Friday weekend.
And next, how a local nonprofit is helping local communities hurting the most to get the resources and opportunities they need.
And you have an opportunity right now to start thinking about the pets and the plants as we go into tomorrow morning. Mike says could see a freeze around here, at least part of the area. The update is coming up. The Local Initiatives Support Coalition is a nonprofit aimed at helping local communities get resources and opportunities they need.
Now, leaders of the Local Initiatives Support Coalition say their organization has received a record total of about $2 billion in donations this year from companies looking to aid people of color. Max Massey and Sarah Costa explain.
LISC is a nonprofit financial institution that funds community development initiatives in 44 states. It allocates money to local groups that provide emergency and wealth building and career development resources to underprivileged minority communities.
Netflix, Lowe's, and Square are just some of the 3 major corporations that made multi-million-dollar donations to the nonprofit in the aftermath of the George Floyd tragedy.
The president and CEO of LISC says this is by far our greatest fundraising year on record. The organization's leaders say their efforts have never been in higher demand. Corporations looking to help people facing institutional obstacles, including millions who have lost jobs because of this pandemic, have turned to LISC for guidance and stewardship in greater numbers.
The nonprofit says 75% of the funds it received this year went to organizations that support low-income housing residents, many of whom were furloughed or laid off due to COVID-19 issues. Roughly 15% of the charitable funds went to the grant and loan program supporting minority-owned small businesses.
And that leftover 10% went to programs promoting education and health initiatives for low-income communities, including job training for laid-off individuals looking for more viable career paths.
Another portion of the nonprofit funds went to the San Diego Housing Commission, a housing authority for San Diego, California, whose residents are in Section 8 federal housing voucher program.
And the money LISC received from corporate America this year has helped so many people avoid financial ruin, but a lot more will have to happen if companies want to close America's racial wealth gap.
The frequently discussed difference in the average net worth of white, black, and Latino families in America has been a focus for economic reform advocates in 2020 and a problem for the nonprofit and corporate leaders are determined to solve. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sarah and Max.
Time now is 5:13 and 46 degrees for now.
Up next, a sneak peek at some of the deals you'll be able to find this Cyber Monday 2020.
Plus, why TikTok is getting more time to finalize a deal to sell its short-form video app.
Louis, stop. Sorry. It's fine. Lou does have pretty good ingredients. Like what? Oh, there's deboned chicken, chicken meal, brown rice, barley, oatmeal. Huh. Why? What's in Beneful? Chicken, whole grain corn, barley, whole grain wheat, soybean meal. But Blue costs a lot more. Not really. I've fed Beneful. Blue's less than 45 cents more a day. Okay, Louie. We'll switch to Blue.
Goodbye cleaning, hello clean. Now BravaJet mops right where you need it with an adjustable precision jet spray and an advanced pad system, and offers personalized cleaning suggestions unique to your home. BravaJet M6 and the iRobot Home app, only from iRobot.
When you're through with powering through, it's time for TheraFlu. Hot liquid medicine. Powerful relief so you can restore and recover. TheraFlu. Hot beats cold.
Holiday shoppers are expected to break records for online shopping today. ABC's Mona Kassar Abdi has details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, today is expected to be the biggest Cyber Monday ever, with analysts predicting nearly $13 billion in online sales. Some of the deepest discounts will be on bedding, apparel, and electronics. Beats headphones are going for nearly half the price, and major retailers are selling 75-inch 4K TVs for under $500. TikTok now has until Friday to finalize a deal to sell its U.S. operations. This month's initial deadline set by the White House has been pushed back twice. President Trump ordered the China-based app to sell its U.S. holdings, saying it poses a national security risk. Finally, if you can work from anywhere, Hawaii wants you. State officials have launched a new campaign aimed at bringing more remote workers to the state. The first 50 people who are accepted after applying online will get free round-trip airfare. Hey, you're wearing Hawaiian t-shirts anyways. Those are your Tech Bites.
5:17.
Let's go ahead and check traffic with Officer Marcus Trujillo.
And thank you, Stephanie. Right now, as we take a look, 410 Quilever Road. So far, no issues there. Traffic starting to pick up ever so slightly there. 410 at Northwest Military Highway, right there by those connector ramps. Now, the good news is roads are dry, so we shouldn't have any issues. Highway 96th Street, you can see travel both directions running smoothly with no problems there. 410 at Highway 151.
Thanks,
Good
Marcus.
news. Oh, no, I was going to say you don't have the pretty moon behind you. Not yet.
In just a moment. We're going
to, moment.
Hopefully we're going to try and find the moon on our live cam. So we're just trying to check that out. But look at the Hilton downtown.
Pretty.
All lit up for Christmas. I love that. And seeing all the decorations and going around seeing all the lights and everything. Now, we're not seeing it yet on this camera. We're looking off to the west there, and nothing as of yet. We're going to try and move that camera around. Of course, this is the full moon right now, and got some clear skies out there and very, very dry air. Do have a little bit of a breeze, but still we do have the freeze warning in effect for parts of the hill country all the way through 9 o'clock this morning. Temperatures, we do have wind chill temperatures right now. Feels like 28 in Kerrville, 29 Lost Maples, 40 here in town, and then 35 at Bernie Stage. And it's going to be a little bit breezier this morning, but we're going to still have enough of a breeze out there this afternoon, and only 55 degrees here in town. So if you're in the shadows, you're definitely going to want to keep your jacket handy today and pretty much the rest of the week. You're going to get a lot of use out of it finally. Yesterday we did hit 62 degrees here in town, about 5 below normal, and still had some 70s down there to the south and west, but everybody's going to be on the cooler side today. We're only looking at mid 50s all around the area later on today. So about 10, 12 degrees below normal here in town, and also the low temperatures are definitely going to be on the cool side for the next few days. Now, as far as the humidity is concerned, we do see a little bit of a bump by Wednesday. We get a sort of a cool air, dry air, reinforcing shot of that throughout the overnight hours, and that's going to allow temperatures to really get cold tomorrow morning. Then we get that bump on Wednesday. Then that gets erased by yet another little bit of a front, just kind of a reinforcing shot of the cool air, and this will definitely keep us on the cool side even as we go on into the latter half of the week and going into next weekend. A lot of freezing readings all around the country, so the latest surge of cold air has moved on in here. This is the big upper trough, and that's what helped to bring the rain in here over the weekend. You get these upper level wind lines coming almost straight down out of Canada, and that's why it is on the cool side. So tomorrow is going to be the coldest morning. Then we get that sort of reinforcing shot. Another low is going to try and work its way in here, not really close enough to do anything for us. There's also going to be a little bit of an kind of an impulse just sliding up there from the Gulf of Mexico, which may produce a couple of showers off to the east. I don't think we'll see anything around here, and that would be on Wednesday. And again, this thing doesn't get close enough to do us any good as far as any more rain is concerned, but it will bring in that reinforcing shot of cooler air, and we've got a nice active weather pattern all the way through. Active as far as keeping the cool air around here all the way through, like I said, the rest of the week. And some of the long-range computer models even keep us cool into about the middle of next week. 50 at noon today, sunny, still kind of on the breezy side this morning, and then the wind is going to be easing a little bit, but that 55 degrees, you'll notice any little bit of a wind out there, and plenty of sunshine. Then clear skies tonight, light wind, dry air. Yep, looking at 30 for a low temperature here in town tomorrow, so a good hard freeze in the hill country. And then we warm up nicely up to 60 tomorrow, 62 on Wednesday. Then that next little reinforcing shot just kind of keeps that little nip in the air around here all the way through the weekend.
Very pretty.
Yep.
No complaints from me.
Sweater weather.
Yes, indeed. Tomorrow may be the wrong day, or today the wrong day to shave. We're going to need that beard tomorrow morning.
To protect you.
Maybe we can get an extension.
I don't know. My face is wanting it gone, so.
Yeah, I understand. 522, 46 degrees.
And still ahead in your morning spotlight, how Disney Plus is honoring the late Chadwick Boseman.
Big three numbers are 243 Fireball 4. Your daily four number 6139 Fireball 6.
Cash 5, 15, 16, 17, 24, 28. Lotto Texas 9, 13, 17, 20, 26, 28. And your Powerball numbers 8, 12, 18, 44, 51, Powerball 18, Power Play 2. Good luck.
Now, the latest this morning from the world of entertainment.
Here's CNN's Douglas Hyde with the Hollywood Minute.
Where are those transmissions you intercepted? What have you done with those plans?
British actor and bodybuilder David Prowse, who played Darth Vader in the original Star Wars trilogy, has died at the age of 85 after a short illness. And while James Earl Jones famously provided Vader's voice, Star Wars creator George Lucas says Prowse's imposing presence brought a physicality to the role that was essential for the character. Disney Plus honored Chadwick Boseman on what would have been the Black Panther star's 44th birthday. The streaming platform unveiled a new, redesigned tribute to Boseman in the intro for the film. Boseman died of colon cancer in August.
Joblessness, recession, crises. It's a dangerous game to make enemies left, right, and centre.
A British government official is worried about how The Crown depicts the royal family and wants Netflix to put a warning label before each episode, reminding viewers that some events have been fictionalized. Netflix had no comment. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
Right now it's 5:26, 46 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, some of the nation's top health experts are worried about another spike of coronavirus cases and what that could do to our hospitals.
Congress heading back to Washington to try, among other things, stop another government shutdown ahead of Christmas holiday and the new year.
Plus, what a San Antonio business is now doing to give back after customers saved it from low sales due to coronavirus. Hi, good morning. It's November 30th. It is Monday. Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us today.
Let's go right to Mike and get an update on our chilly start to the work week.
Yep, and it's going to stay chilly all week long, downright just cold tomorrow morning. We're looking at a lot of freezing temperatures tomorrow morning. We don't have many on the map right now, although it does feel like it. 46 out there at the airport, dew points down to 29, and we've got that wind, and that's what's kind of keeping the atmosphere stirred up. When you don't have any wind, it's like, it was described to me one time, like chocolate milk. If you don't keep it stirred up, then the heavier little chocolate particles settle at the bottom of the glass. That's why when you don't have any breeze, we get some of the coldest temperatures around here. That's what we're expecting for tomorrow. But of course, on the flip side of it, we do have a little bit of wind chill to deal with. Kerrville right now, 37, 36 Rock Springs, 37 also in Fredericksburg. There is a freeze warning up until 9 o'clock this morning for the hill country. We, like I said, aren't seeing a lot right now, but we're still going to cool off for the next couple of hours up until right about just after sunrise, which is just after 7 o'clock this morning. We've also got that wind out there, 17 mile per hour winds in Kerrville, 14 at the airport, 16 New Braunfels, so wind chill temperatures. Feels like 28 right now in Kerrville, 29 Lost Maples, and 37 is the wind chill in Bulverde. And throughout the rest of today, beautiful day, lots of sunshine, maybe a little bit of a milky shade to the sky, but still nothing to complain about. Wind is still going to be present, not as windy as this morning. 55 for high temperatures today, anywhere from 10, almost 12, 13 degrees below normal. Good shot of cold air tomorrow morning. It's going to be a very chilly start, and it's going to stay cool all week long. Details in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo. It's been quiet up to this point, sir.
So far, not too bad this morning, Mike. It's been a fairly pleasant commute for those that have to venture out early this morning. Hopefully, it'll stay that way. As we take a look, 410 Equilibra Road, no problems all the way around to 410 at Northwest Military Highway. Looking at Highway 90 and 36th Street, eastbound and westbound lanes are still running smoothly right now. 410 at Highway 151, no problems. Mark and Stephanie.
Thanks, Marcus. Thanksgiving 2020 now over, but health officials fear holiday travel and gatherings over the past few days could further fuel a surge of COVID-19 cases and deaths.
As CNN John Lawrence reports, President-elect Joe Biden's coronavirus advisory board is considering which groups of people should be among the first to receive a COVID-19 vaccine once the first one becomes available.
The millions of Americans who traveled over Thanksgiving may want to get COVID-19 tests.
We might see a surge superimposed upon that surge that we're already in. And when I give that message, I don't want to frighten people, except to say it is not too late at all for us to do something about this.
The White House Coronavirus Task Force says actions that could help include mask mandates.
In states that did those, or mayors or counties that did that, we can see a really significant difference.
Local lockdowns could also be possible.
I'm talking about individual locations of people starting to see significant stresses on the hospital and healthcare delivery system.
Hospitalizations in the U.S. topped 93,000 Sunday, breaking a record set the day before, according to the COVID Tracking Project.
There is no way that the hospitals can be fully prepared for what we're currently facing. This is like a natural disaster occurring in all 50 states at the same time.
There have been around 267,000 COVID-19 related fatalities confirmed in the U.S. since the pandemic started. Health experts say that number could rise exponentially through December and the start of the new year.
We may be looking at 3,000-4,000 deaths per day as the surges on the ICUs mount.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The Supreme Court is set to hear oral arguments in a census case on Monday. The case is Trump versus New York. Now, the Trump administration is attempting to exclude undocumented immigrants from being tallied when congressional seats are reallocated nationwide next year. A federal panel issued an injunction back in September blocking the Commerce Department from carrying out the Trump administration's order. Now, the justices will decide if the directive can be enforced. The hearing will be held by telephone conference due to the pandemic.
President-elect Joe Biden has hairline fractures in his right foot and likely will be wearing a walking boot in the coming weeks. His doctor says an x-ray did show the injuries at first. Then a follow-up CT scan showed small fractures in two bones in the middle of the foot. Biden gave a thumbs up to cameras as he left the doctor's office last night. His office says he slipped while playing with his dog Major on Saturday. Biden is 78 and set to become the oldest president in U.S. history. Major is a German Shepherd the Bidens rescued from the Delaware Humane Society.
Congress is returning to Washington for one last attempt at deal-making this year. The only absolute must-do is preventing a government shutdown on December 11th. But lawmakers are also debating whether to deliver another round of coronavirus relief before President Donald Trump leaves office. A virus bill would provide funding for vaccines and testing, for reopening schools, and for helping small businesses. But the parties remain divided on the details and the cost. Failure to pass a measure would push virus aid to the top of President-elect Joe Biden's legislative agenda.
5:35, 46 degrees.
And still ahead, an update as the owner of San Antonio's only Nestle Toll House Cafe is thanking customers for saving her business.
And next, to look at some of the great Cyber Monday deals for the space enthusiast in your life.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, a cold 46 degrees. When you grab that jacket, you're going to keep it a little longer today. We're going to check in with Mike after the break.
5:38, welcome back to GMSA. This year's Cyber Monday bringing a lot of out-of-this-world deals for members of your family that love the galaxy, as well as that one that is far, far away.
But you'll have to act fast to get them. Our Sarah Costa joins us live with some more Cyber Monday specials. Hey, good morning.
Happy Monday, Sarah.
Happy Cyber Monday. Did you guys watch Mandalorian this Friday?
I did.
I missed it.
Stephanie, best
I heard.
episode.
You did, Jamie, or didn't?
Not
All
yet.
right,
No spoilers.
so here's what happened. All right.
Greatest episode ever, and this is why a lot of Mandalorian fans get excited, because there's some good Cyber Monday deals for you right now online, whether that loved one is into astronomy, science, or maybe even a little science fiction. So let's get right to it. First, there is an Orion Starblast 2 telescope. Normally it goes for $199, but you can get 10% off on Amazon. It includes a moon map and 2 eyepieces to get beginners started with cosmic observing. For Star Wars fans, get this, you can get the Mandalorian Darksaber. I know it was a big deal when the Darksaber made its debut. And that's on Amazon for $24.86. The regular price is $30. And over at GameStop, you can get the Star Wars Squadrons video game for just $16.99 instead of $40. That's almost 60% off. And if you want to get your kid involved in science, the Playmobil's Mars Space Station is on sale on Amazon for $52.80 compared to its normal $79.99 price tag. That includes a science module robot and crystals, and is a great way to get your kids involved in STEM activities. Of course, you can find a link to all these great deals right now on KSAT.com. We'll have more fun Cyber Monday deals coming up in our 6:30 half hour on GMSA. Mark and Stephanie.
That Star Wars video game deal is a heck of a deal.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. And a great way to get the kids interested in STEM. Thank you, Sarah.
Yep. Telescope's a good idea, too. 5:40, 46 degrees.
And still ahead, a look back on the life of the actor that made Darth Vader come to life in the classic Star Wars films.
You may not recognize his name, but for generations, fans of David Prowse brought the ultimate movie villain to life.
That's right. And here's ABC's Clayton Standel with that.
The moment he stepped on screen in the original Star Wars, actor David Prowse gave life to one of the most iconic villains of all time, without saying a word. Before Darth Vader, Prowse was the monster and the hero.
going fast, man.
Looks like you two need a lesson in crossing the road.
Here, reminding kids to be safe in British TV ads. As a 6'6" bodybuilder and champion weightlifter, Prowse had a physique director George Lucas needed for Star Wars. He was offered the part of Chewbacca or Darth Vader. I turned down Chewbacca at once, he said. I know that people remember villains longer than heroes. What Prowse didn't know is that George Lucas was planning to replace his thick Welsh accent.
Start tearing this ship apart piece by piece until you find those tapes. Find the passengers of this vessel. I want them alive.
He was also disappointed that when Vader's helmet came off, it was a different actor underneath. But today, Lucas praised Prowse for helping Vader leap off the screen. David was up for anything and contributed to the success of what would become a memorable, tragic figure. In later years, Prowse continued to attend fan conventions, always signing, "David Prowse is Darth Vader." He was 85. The portrayal of a character he always considered his is timeless. Clayton Sandell, ABC News.
In your morning consumer headlines, San Antonio's only Nestle Toll House Cafe is officially here to stay after seeing an influx of customers over the last week. That's according to owner Sherry Ramirez. This comes after Ramirez made a plea to the community asking for support after COVID-19 slowed down her business. The cafe is located at 6626 West Loop 1604 near Culebra Commons, and it specializes in sweets and coffee. Ramirez gave thanks to her customers in a video on social media last night for saving her cafe and her staff. She says the people of San Antonio not only saved the cafe, but raised some funds for the food bank as well. We're going to tell you how much she'll be donating and how many meals it's providing in our next half hour. Ramirez is a retired military veteran who served more than 36 years as a registered nurse and acute care nurse practitioner in the Army, Navy, and Air Force.
Black Friday online sales hit a new record this year as the pandemic-wary Americans filled virtual carts instead of real ones. Consumers spent an estimated $9 billion on U.S. retail websites on Black Friday. But traffic to physical stores plummeted as retailers tried to prevent crowds from cutting their hours and limiting doorbuster deals. U.S. store visits dropped by 52%, according to Sensormatic Solutions, a retail tracker.
And two big consumer tech companies are getting set to hit Wall Street by storm. Airbnb and DoorDash could both go public before the end of the year, according to the Wall Street Journal. Both companies have weathered the coronavirus pandemic and could see higher than expect valuations. Airbnb's in the $33 billion range and DoorDash in the $28 billion range.
Well, with all that online shopping, retailers are worried about Ship-ageddon, an influx of orders which could cripple delivery services and keep them from delivering packages on time. FedEx is hiring 70,000 workers for the holiday season. UPS will hire more than 100,000 temporary employees to get through the end-of-year rush. Best advice, plan ahead. Experts say shop and ship early or buy online and pick up in store.
Good advice almost every year, though. Time now to take a look at traffic with Officer Marcus Trujillo.
And traffic's still moving along fairly well right now. That's the map there, void of any incidents. That's the way we like to see it. So as we move on to TransGuide, you can see that traffic not too bad out there, folks. 35 at Pine, no issues there. Folks moving at least at the speed limit. Just watch that speed as you head out. So with that nice open road, real easy for your speed to get away from you. I-10 at the Y here in the downtown area. So far, no issues.
This is it. This is our furry finale, guys. No Shave November comes to an end today. And as I quickly look up and try to find out the latest totals here, because I knew we were going to talk about this, but I never have the totals in front of me.
More than 9,000. All right.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, on the leaderboard, $9,000 on the leaderboard for National No Shave. KSAT is fourth highest in team leaderboard and third highest for organizations. Yeah, right now I'm looking and I see $8,851 raised.
That is awesome. Thank you guys for everyone who has donated so far. But again, today is the last day to donate, so just check out KSAT.com. There's a link there and also on your personal page as well.
KSAT, Mark Austin.
That's right.
Yes.
Hey, if we could hit 10,000, I mean, just because, that would be fantastic.
That would be very cool.
Still time today.
Yeah, we're at 8851, so not too far off.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you so much to folks for donating, though.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
a lot of fantastic causes that it is going to. All right, here is a picture. Someone's ready for Christmas. I love that. But I don't know. Do the eyes kind of say, take it off?
No, I think they say I'm adorable.
Well, the dog's adorable without saying, but
yeah.
It's like, take
I think
it off.
that expression says why.
Yeah, take it off before we go to the dog park.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's a wonderful picture. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. All right, we finally found a great little shot there. We got a couple of high wispy clouds as of right now, and there is the full moon. There was also a bit of an eclipse this morning, and it's kind of ending as of right now. I looked outside earlier this morning. I was not able to see anything. I don't know if you were or not, but yeah, beautiful full moon out there. 46 degrees right now here in town, 38 Comfort, 37 Lost Maples. So we're not seeing freezing temperatures as of yet. We got that little bit of a cloud cover, obviously, and that acts like a slight bit of a blanket. Plus we have some wind. Despite that, there's a freeze warning that was posted last night, and it's for the hill country up until 9 o'clock this morning. Then we are going to more than likely see more freeze warnings issued for a bigger chunk of the area tomorrow morning. Dew point temperatures remain very low around here, so we've got mostly clear skies. We've got very dry air, but there is the wind to deal with. So we don't have all three ingredients, the perfect ingredients, but that will be the situation tonight. And again, that's why we're going to be getting even colder tomorrow morning. But with that breeze out there, 10, 15, close to 20 mile per hour winds and some gusts, we do have wind chill temperatures right now. 29 Lost Maples and 39 is what it feels like right now in New Braunfels. And it's going to be breezy enough throughout the rest of today that where you're going to notice it. Plus temperatures will only be in the mid 50s later on today. So in the sun, good. In the shade, it's going to be chilly. All right, here's the computer model over the next couple of days. Nothing out there, a couple of high wispy clouds. That's pretty much about it. And then by Wednesday, there will be some showers well off to the east. We'll have a couple of extra clouds around here. This is also along the kind of the latest, not a big front, but just the front that's going to move through, and a bit of a disturbance coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. However, I don't think we'll really see anything even in our eastern counties with this, and then that will just get shoved off to the east. And then after that, we've got, maybe a couple of extra clouds here and there, perhaps on Saturday, but otherwise we're going to have lots of beautiful weather all week long and going into the weekend and staying on the cool side. So we kind of peak in temperatures Wednesday and then drop back down. 50 today at noon, sunny, still kind of on the breezy side. And then later on this afternoon, 55 for a high temperature, about 12 degrees below normal here in town. In some cases, in some areas, about 15 degrees below normal. Tomorrow morning, widespread freeze around the area, going for 30 here in town. And then we double that up to 60, 62 on Wednesday. And the latest shot of cool air comes in here, keeps us in the 50s and low 60s going in through the weekend. So all of those numbers are below their respective normals.
Ah, very nice.
Yep. Nice, good start to December.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mike. It's a good way to start the day. 5:51, 46 degrees.
And a movie which hit #1 this week and also made another milestone in cinematic history. Find out next when we go over the weekend box office numbers.
And here are your lottery numbers again. Pick 3 numbers, 243, Fireball 4, Daily 4 numbers 6139, Fireball 6.
Cash 5, 15, 16, 17, 24, 28. Lotto Texas, we have 9, 13, 17, 20, 26, 28. And your Powerball numbers 8, 12, 18, 44, 51, Powerball 18, Power Play 2. Good luck.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, fears about the coronavirus emergency intensifying after the busiest day of air travel since the pandemic began. Dr. Fauci is forecasting a, quote, surge upon surge in the coming weeks after Thanksgiving celebrations. This is all happening as tough new restrictions are taking effect across the country, and charter flights to ship the vaccine have already started. We're going to have the latest right here on GMA.
It was like he was using the electricity to move around the room.
Come Play finished in 5th place. The Fright Flick scared up $387,000 in ticket sales.
You heard we were coming, did you?
I did. A little birdie flew over your head. You cheep, 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 cheep.
Are they here or not?
The Kevin Costner, Diane Lane kidnapping thriller Let Him Go earned $453,000. Good enough for 4th place.
You don't touch another man's computer.
That's not cool!
That's what war is all about, kiddo.
War! I just want my room back!
Robert De Niro and the War with Grandpa is still raging even 2 months after its release. The holiday family comedy is in third place with $643,000.
And not only is that psycho wearing my body, he's killing it.
Last weekend's box office champ Freaky dropped a spot to second. The body swap horror comedy nabbed $770,000 in its third week of release.
I think it's the end of the world.
Looks like I've seen it all.
The Croods: A New Age opened in first place. The sequel to the 2013 animated hit generated $9.7 million, making it the lowest Thanksgiving debut in modern history. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas High.
Coming out of Thanksgiving, going right into December and the Christmas holiday, it is a season of giving, and our KSAT community partners need your help to provide shoes to children in need. This month, we've been hosting a Share the Shoes drive with SAPD and the local nonprofit Zapatos. Our goal is to collect and donate 1,100 pairs. You still have time through December 4th to drop off new shoes at any San Antonio police substation. We have a closer look at this map and more details on KSATcommunity.com. Glad you're with us this morning as we get the work week going. The phrase "go big or go home" taking on a different meaning as more people are investing in tiny houses. Just ahead on GMSA, we'll see how the tiny home movement is expanding across the country and why they have become so popular. TransGuide right now, they're 1604 at Babcock. The curfew has come to an end and traffic is building. We're going to get your day rolling after this.
One man is fighting for his life in the hospital after an overnight shooting, and this morning police are still looking for that shooter.
San Antonio Food Bank getting some much needed help today. We will learn how that help is coming from community members dedicated to giving back.
And taking a look outside with live cam, there is the moon we've been looking for all morning, shining bright, and a cold start to your morning at 44 degrees.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Hey there, good morning. We hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving weekend and got some shopping done. It is Monday, November 30th.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Yeah, happy Monday. Welcome back. Feeling great this morning?
Yeah, 44 degrees out there, crisp start. And Mike Ostrich has been tracking temperatures all morning long. And the key theme here, I guess, Mike, for you has been that things are a little bit closer to normal around here.
Finally, yes. Yesterday, we actually stayed on the cool side as far as the high temperature is concerned. And then for the rest of the week, we are not going to see any normal temperatures. We're going to be on the cool side of that. So that's fantastic news. All right, beautiful full moon out there, but also notice how there are just a couple of high wispy clouds hanging around. Maybe a little tiny bit of a blanket because we're not quite as cool yet, but we'll still cool down a few more degrees between now and the time the sun comes up, and actually just right after that. So for about the next, say, hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. 42 right now, Bulverde. We've dropped down to 44 in town and 36 out there in Kerrville. Now, there is a freeze warning until 9 o'clock for parts of the hill country. One thing, besides the little bit of a cloud cover, which, you know, it's not like a big thick blanket on top of us, but it helps out. It's better than, or keeps us a little warmer than very clear skies. But also, there's been a good breeze overnight, and it's still very windy. Winds 20 miles per hour there at Port SA, 14 at the airport. So that keeps the atmosphere kind of stirred up and doesn't allow the heaviest, coolest air to settle down at the surface. But then you got a wind chill to deal with. So Port SA, it feels like 35, 37 at the airport, and some 20s out there in portions of the hill country. It will be windier this morning than later on this afternoon. Still enough of a breeze out there, and mold is on the moderate side. So as far as temperatures, I think we dropped down to 39 here in town. It'll be, again, windier this morning, and then later on this afternoon, and by the way, by noon, we make it up to 50, and then top off only at 55 degrees. Normal high temperature is 67, so yeah, definitely on the cool side of things. You're going to get a lot of use out of your jacket this week, especially tomorrow morning. We're looking at some widespread freezing temperatures. Details in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now, and Officer Marcus Trujillo. Boy, there hasn't been a whole... Are people sleeping in after the long weekend, you think?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Mike
said you can stay home. Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, let's go over to TransGuide right now. No accidents, by the way. You can see that there are 35 at Division, north and southbound lanes running smoothly. Starting to see some increase in the traffic there. 1604 at Babcock as folks are zooming along. Just watch that speed limit. And then here in the downtown area, 35 of St. Mary's, no problems there. Mark?
New this morning, a man's in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after a Northside shooting. Police tell us happened around 11:30 last night on Vance Jackson near Jackson Keller, not far from Colonial Hills Elementary School. They say the man was in front of his apartment with two other men. When he went back inside, police say one of the men shot the victim through the sliding glass door. They say a bullet hit his arm and he was rushed to a hospital. Police are still looking for the shooter.
The Windcrest Police Department saying they arrested a woman accused of breaking into a man's home and cutting him. They arrested 32-year-old Nicole Palovchak over the weekend. Now, Windcrest police say she broke into the house of her friend's ex-girlfriend and fell asleep in his daughter's bedroom. When the man got home, he asked her to leave, but she started smashing glass and used a shard to cut the man's neck and chest. That man was able to leave, but had to take an Uber to the hospital where he needed stitches in his neck.
Now to the pandemic. The nightly curfew in Bexar County ended this morning at 5. That doesn't mean we can stop taking measures to prevent the coronavirus. Local health officials are reporting 888 new cases here in Bexar County. Metro Health also added 758 backlog cases to the county total and backlog deaths. Right now, there are 15% staffed hospital beds available and 67% of ventilators available. We'll get another update this evening during the daily briefing.
Today is the final day to get a free COVID-19 test from the University of the Incarnate Word School of Osteopathic Medicine. Anyone is allowed to get a test from 8 this morning until 5 this evening at the campus on Kennedy Hill Drive. It is currently the only free testing site located on San Antonio's south side. Walk-up testing is available. However, organizers are asking as many people as possible to make an appointment. If you are already experiencing symptoms, UIW says you should call your doctor and try to arrange a test that minimizes the risk of exposure to others. You can find more information on scheduling an appointment on KSAT.com.
Across the nation, coronavirus hospitalizations hit another all-time high, and now after the busiest air travel day since the pandemic began, doctors are worried that cases will surge even further.
Meanwhile, more cities and states are imposing shutdowns, hoping to protect the healthcare system from being overwhelmed. ABC's Kenneth Moten has more.
This morning, harsher restrictions are about to take effect for more Americans as health officials brace for another deadly surge in coronavirus cases.
I believe that the next 6 to 12 weeks are going to be the darkest weeks in modern American medical history.
A 3-week stay-at-home order begins today in Los Angeles County, where more than 5,000 cases were reported Sunday. People in the county are now being urged not to gather with anyone outside their household, even if it's outdoors.
Still have to, go out and get the things we need, but stay at home as much as we can.
I think people aren't taking it seriously enough. I think the restrictions need to be tighter, and that's the only way that we're going to get rid of this.
Across the country this morning, nearly 100,000 people are hospitalized with the virus. In November alone, more than 4 million Americans have been infected, more than twice the total in October. And health experts warn the Thanksgiving holiday could become a super spreader.
If you're young and you gathered, you need to be tested about 5 to 10 days later, but you need to assume that you're infected and not go near your grandparents and aunts and others without a mask.
The TSA is screening more than 8 million people over the holiday travel period. Tens of millions more hit the road. Dr. Anthony Fauci now says restrictions and travel advisories will be necessary for the Christmas holiday.
What we expect, unfortunately, as we go for the next couple of weeks into December, that we might see a surge superimposed upon that surge that we're already in. And when I give that message, I don't want to frighten people, except to say it is not too late at all for us to do something about this.
And with potential vaccines right around the corner, preparations are underway for distribution. United Airlines is now shipping doses of Pfizer's vaccine. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
Back here at home last week, the owner of the Nestle Toll House Cafe in San Antonio was about to close her business's doors. But now this morning, she says she is here to stay.
The cafe owner made one last plea to the community for help, and her customers rallied to keep her doors open. Our Sarah Costa joins us live in the studio with how she is now giving back.
Good morning, and this is a nice positive story here. The business received so much help. The owner was not only able to stay open, but made enough to give back to the San Antonio Food Bank. San Antonio's only Nestle Toll House Cafe is officially here to stay after seeing an influx of customers over the last week, according to owner Sherry Ramirez. This comes after Ramirez made a plea to the community on November 22nd, asking for support after COVID-19 slowed down her business. The cafe is located at 6626 West Loop, 1604 in San Antonio near Culebra Commons, and it specializes in sweets and coffee. And as you just saw in that video, throughout the week, long lines were seen outside of the cafe. At one point, they even sold out of sweets. Ramirez is a retired military veteran who served more than 36 years as a registered nurse and acute care nurse practitioner in the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Ramirez said she decided to open the cafe to help spread some positivity in the Alamo City. Ramirez gave thanks to her customers in a video on social media Sunday evening for saving her cafe and staff. She says, quote, "Thank you, San Antonio, for the save. Not only did you save our cafe, but you raised over $200 for the San Antonio Food Bank. That's 1,400 meals." She says, "Thank you so much." Now, whether you have a craving for a cookie or a special occasion coming up, Ramirez said the cafe is still always ready to serve any and all needs, and now it's here to stay. Mark and Stephanie.
Very cool story. Thank you, Sarah. And speaking of the food bank, one San Antonio woman is carrying on her mother's mission to donate after her mom's death. Brenda Kelly died from COVID-19 complications last week. Her daughter, Catherine, says her mom spent as much time as she could donating time to the food bank. She had even launched a small campaign to raise donation during the pandemic. And Catherine says although her mom is gone, she is carrying on her work. She says she managed to raise over $2,000 and plans to give all the money back to the food bank.
The only thing I could think to do is to continue what she had started and hopes that it helps a lot of people in San Antonio.
The food bank says that for every dollar raised, they can provide up to 7 meals. If you want to help, you can head to KSAT.com for more details.
Right now we are at 610, 44 degrees.
And it's going to get cold overnight. Mike's going to tell us what we need to know about a potential freeze here in San Antonio. And we will learn more about what you can do to handle the weather at home.
A nonprofit seeing a record number of donations to help communities of color across the nation. After the break, we'll see how the local initiatives support corporation plans to use the money.
And taking a look outside with live cam. There's a beautiful shot of that bright moon right now. It is 44 degrees. Definitely grab your coat or jacket. You're going to need it today. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, 6:14 on your Monday morning. The Local Initiative Support Corporation, or LISC, is a nonprofit aimed at helping local communities get resources and opportunities they need.
Now, leaders of the LISC nonprofit say their organization has received a record of nearly $2 billion in donations this year from companies looking to aid people of color.
Max Massey and Sarah Costa have more.
LISC is a nonprofit financial institution that funds community development initiatives in 44 states. It allocates money to local groups that provide emergency and wealth building and career development resources to underprivileged minority communities.
Netflix, Lowe's, and Square are just some of the 3 major corporations that made multi-million-dollar donations to the nonprofit in the aftermath of the George Floyd tragedy.
The president and CEO of LISC says this is by far our greatest fundraising year on record. The organization's leaders say their efforts have never been in higher demand. Corporations looking to help people facing institutional obstacles, including millions who have lost jobs because of this pandemic, have turned to LISC for guidance and stewardship in greater numbers.
The nonprofit says 75% of the funds it received this year went to organizations that support low-income housing residents, many of whom were furloughed or laid off due to COVID-19 issues. Roughly 15% of the charitable funds went went to the grant and loan program supporting minority-owned small businesses.
And that leftover 10% went to programs promoting education and health initiatives for low-income communities, including job training for laid-off individuals looking for more viable career paths.
Another portion of the nonprofit funds went to the San Diego Housing Commission, a housing authority for San Diego, California, whose residents are in Section 8 federal housing voucher program.
And the money LISC received from corporate America this year has helped so many people avoid financial ruin, but a lot more will have to happen if companies want to close America's racial wealth gap.
The frequently discussed difference in the average net worth of white, black, and Latino families in America has been a focus for economic reform advocates in 2020 and a problem for the nonprofit and corporate leaders are determined to solve. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, guys.
Let's go ahead and check traffic with Officer Marcus Trujillo. I know it was a little slow earlier.
It's picking up its volume just a little bit. However, the great news is no accidents right now. I-10 at the Y. Take a look at that traffic flow in there, 410 to Culebra. You can see that we're starting to get some increases on those eastbound main lanes. No slowdowns just yet, so not quite that level of congestion, but nonetheless, you are going to have to pay attention to the roadway once you head out. Put away those distractions, so cell phone, those coffee cups, and watch that speed limit. 410 at Highway 151, no issues there.
Looking good. Thank you, Marcus.
And it's back to school for a lot of kids this morning.
Yep, and back to jackets. And unlike, other days when we've had cold temperatures in the morning and then it warms up in the afternoon, you're going to need your jacket all day long, especially in the shadows today because, 55 degrees and still a bit of a breeze even this afternoon, not as strong as this morning. So warm up the bus this morning. Temperatures are going to continue to drop down. I'm going for 39 for a low temperature when it's all said and done, and we'll hit that probably in about the next hour or so. A lot of times in situations like this, you do hit your coldest temperatures just after the sun comes up. And then 55, that's it. Normal high temperature is 67 degrees, and we will have wind out of the north about 10 to 15 miles per hour. What a beautiful picture. That's just great looking. Right there over in Hondo. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. And the reflection also. Keep those great pictures coming in here in the KSAT Connect pictures. All right, there is the full moon, and notice how some of those clouds have broken up just a little bit out there. And there was actually a slight bit of an eclipse earlier this morning that has now passed, and boy, it's gorgeous out there. And this, of course, is called the full Beaver moon because it's when the beavers would retreat into their lodges for the winter time. Also, freezing moon, and in this case, that's going to hold true, and the whitefish moon. These are all legends from Indian Native Americans up there around the Great Lakes. All right, freeze warning is in effect for the hill country up until 9 o'clock this morning. And we don't have a lot of freezing temperatures right now. And one of the reasons we do have a pretty good breeze out there, and that keeps the atmosphere kind of stirred up and doesn't allow the heaviest, coldest air to settle down to the surface. But then you have wind like this, which 20 miles per hour out there at Port SA, gusts to 26 out at the airport, 25 in New Braunfels, and you got a pretty good wind chill to deal with. 37 New Braunfels at the airport, 28 right now is what it feels like in Kerrville, 27 in Los Maples. Had a lot of, was looking up, took a walk yesterday and just looking up, and it was just such a beautiful shade of blue in the sky. That was because of the very dry air upstairs in the atmosphere. Now, and as you saw on the live cam with a couple of high wispy clouds out there, a little bit more moisture coming on in here from the south and west, and so maybe a slight milky shade of the sky today, but still just an absolutely gorgeous day. And we're going to continue to have beautiful weather today, tomorrow, 1 or 2 extra clouds around here. And then by Wednesday, there is a disturbance which will come just to the east of us. I don't think we're going to see really anything around here as far as any rain, even in our eastern counties. Maybe a sprinkle, a couple of extra clouds. That'll be about it. And then that all gets moved on out of here. 1 or 2 clouds scattered about here and there, and that'll be about it to finish up the week. And we got the latest batch of cold air, which has moved on in. We've got some teens up there just to the north of us, and that cooler air is definitely going to be staying in place, and we'll get sort of a reinforcing shot of it coming in here by midweek. And that'll keep things definitely on the chilly side. No normal temperatures at all this week. Everything, both the high and low, are going to be below normal, including today. 50 at noon, sunny, breezy. Actually, yesterday was below normal too. We had 62, normal being 67. So we're going to be well below that later on today. Only up to 55 degrees. A lot of sunshine out there though. Maybe, like I said, a little milky shade to the sky. 30 tomorrow morning. We're going to see a lot of freezing temperatures around here because we're not going to have the wind, and we'll have clear skies and, of course, the dry air. And that would be our first freeze, of course, officially here in town. Great way to start off the month of December. And again, we stay on the cool side, get a little reinforcing shot of cool air to finish up the week and going into the weekend.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how dashing is Mike's beard this year?
Pretty 10. Yeah, it's a 10.
Yeah.
You too, a 10.
Thank you very much. I've always liked the number 12, so I'm going to say you're a 12.
Wow, you're off the charts.
Yeah.
Do you owe me money or something?
No, yeah, probably. Probably.
And it's, do what? He owes us breakfast tacos, yes. Because I was just saying that to my wife yesterday. I said, finally I get to shave. She's like, no.
Yeah, I understand. And there's one thing about Marcus. He is consistent with his humor. 621, 44 degrees.
And you are with the tacos.
Oh, no.
Or the lack of.
And coming up, a large metal object that mysteriously ended up in a Utah desert is now creating even more buzz. We're going to see the latest in the seemingly sci-fi saga in today's GMA First Look.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a medium coffee. Win with Circle K and GMSA.
Hey! Yeah? I switched to Geico and got more. More savings on car insurance? They helped with homeowners, too. Okay. Plus, motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance. Geico's got you covered. Like a blanket.
Houston, you seeing this? Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Rich, indulgent chocolate with a luscious caramel filling. With love from San Francisco. Ghirardelli Caramel Squares. Makes life a bite better.
In this morning's GMA First Look, what is happening with that strange structure in a Utah desert?
We showed up and there was nothing there. For a moment, we were just in disbelief, like, what is happening? It was really scary. I was nervous.
Earlier this month, Utah officials happened upon this 10 to 12 foot three-sided metal beam in a remote canyon. Theories abounded. Was it art? Aliens? Massive fans of the sci-fi classic 2001: A Space Odyssey? Then, as confoundingly as it had appeared, it vanished, almost without a trace.
Kind of a hard thing to investigate, where we don't know where it came from, when it came from, or where it went.
Coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on this bizarre story and hear from someone who saw the monolith before it vanished. With your GMA First Look, I'm Will Reeve, ABC News, New York.
We are feeling a bit of a chill across South Texas. We're expecting to experience the first freeze of the season here in San Antonio area tonight.
And that means you don't want to be unprepared. Our Sarah Costa joins us in the studio to tell us how to get ready for the first taste of winter here and other trending topics on KSAT.com. Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Burr. Yeah, grab those coats, hats, and gloves because it is cold and it's going to be cold overnight, like Mike has been saying all morning. But there is more you can do to be prepared than just raiding your closet. In your home, make sure to protect your pipes so they don't freeze. You can open your cabinet doors to allow warmer air to circulate around them. And speaking of air, pick a setting on your thermostat and let it run. Turning it on and off can cost you more on your energy bill. The American Red Cross says you should pick a temperature above 55 degrees and keep it running all day long, even if you aren't home. And then don't leave your pets outside. Bring them inside. If you have any plants as well, make sure they are covered or bring them inside. You could use a bed sheet or a frost cloth. Don't cover your plants with plastic because it might make them even worse. And before you hit the road tomorrow, make sure your tires are inflated. And as we get closer to the holidays, many of us may be trying to track Santa Claus for a picture. And one mother in Dallas is trying to make it easier for people of color to find representation at the North Pole. She created a new app called, quote, Find Black Santa. So families can find Santas who look like themselves. You can find the app on Apple's App Store or the Google Play Store and use your address to find Black Santas. Just remember to follow proper guidelines if you see old Saint Nick. And speaking of Christmas, the state capitol will be feeling more in the spirit today. The Texas Parks and Wildlife will deliver the Christmas tree that will be at the Capitol building in Austin. It is a Virginia pine tree grown in North Texas, and it is Texas-sized. And you can find all these trending stories and more right now on KSAT.com. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah. Time now is 6:28 and 44 degrees.
President-elect Joe Biden expected to announce more members of his White House team today. Comes after announcing an all-women communications team.
And Cyber Monday is expected to reach record-setting numbers, and the pandemic is likely the cause of that online boom.
President-elect Joe Biden making key announcements about his White House team. I'm ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. The latest on the transition coming up.
Outside with live cam, look at that moon. It is bright overnight, cold air in place. What's in store for our work week as we get back to a more normal routine after the long holiday weekend? Mike is standing by with the details.
Hi, it's November 30th. Thank you for joining us. Hope you had a beautiful Thanksgiving weekend.
Let's go right to Mike, see how things are looking out there, and then we'll check with Marcus to get time saver traffic.
Good morning, everyone. Well, you can just see from this picture that it is absolutely gorgeous. We've got a lot of clear skies, maybe one or two high wispy clouds hanging around here. And of course, this is the full moon this morning. It is absolutely gorgeous out there. And yep, grab a coat and you're going to want it all day long. 44 degrees out there at the airport, dew points at 25. So we got some pretty dry air in place, but there is a good breeze out there as of right now. That's actually kind of keeping the actual air temperatures from getting even colder. We'll drop down a couple of more degrees, but it's giving us somewhat of a wind chill. 43 is the temperature in Uvalde, Del Rio 48, 45 in Carrizo Springs, and 41 Bulverde. Got some 30s out there in portions of the hill country. We do have a freeze warning for portions of the hill country this morning, and we'll, like I said, continue to drop down a few more degrees, but then freezing. Get ready for it tomorrow morning because we're not going to have the wind to deal with. Wind out of the north at about 10, 15, 20 miles per hour there at Port SA. And then some pretty good gusts on top of that. So wind chill temperatures, 30 Tarpley, 29 Bernie Stage, and 35 is what it feels like up the road in Bulverde. Mold is on the low side, on the moderate side, beg your pardon. And throughout the rest of today, mid-50s for high temperatures. So yeah, that's jacket weather, especially in the shade. And then tomorrow, widespread freezing temperatures because we're going to have clear skies, dry air, and very light wind, then followed by plenty of sunshine. We'll kind of get a little bit warmer, relatively speaking, Wednesday, but then another reinforcing shot of cool air is going to keep us on the chilly side throughout the rest of the week. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now, and Officer Marcus Trujillo. And have there been any accidents at all this morning?
Not on the highways. Everything's been great so far, so still looking great in that respect. Let's take a look at a couple of TransGuide cameras. We did have a stalled vehicle out there, 410 Fredericksburg area. That should be off the road by now. 410 Nicoleta starting to pick up in traffic on those northbound main lanes, headed back over towards that I-10, 410 interchange. And no problems here, 410 at Northwest Military Highway. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Marcus. President-elect Joe Biden has announced his White House communications team, which consists entirely of women.
It's the first time in history a woman will hold every senior position on the communications team. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has more.
President-elect Joe Biden is filling positions in his administration, announcing members that will be key in tackling the nation's pandemic and economic crisis. The Biden team revealing an all-women White House senior communications staff, with former Obama administration official Jen Psaki as press secretary. Biden is expected to unveil key members of his economic team, including former Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen as Treasury Secretary this week. Late Sunday, the president-elect leaving a doctor's office after fracturing his foot. Biden's doctor saying he suffered the injury while playing with his dog and will likely need to wear a walking boot for several weeks. President Trump retweeting video of Biden writing, "Get well soon." Trump also taking to Twitter to criticize Chris Krebs, the cybersecurity chief he fired, who said the election was the most secure in American history. Krebs doubling down on that claim, telling 60 Minutes,
"I did it right. We did it right. This was a secure election."
The president's legal team and its allies have lost at least 31 cases contesting the election or alleging fraud. And a recount in Wisconsin requested and paid for by the Trump campaign confirmed Biden's win in the state. But in a Fox interview Sunday, Trump continued to make these unfounded claims.
This election was rigged. This election is a total fraud.
President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will receive their first presidential daily briefing today, a process that was delayed because of President Trump's refusal to concede. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Congress is returning to Washington, D.C. for one last attempt at any sort of deal making this year. There is only one must-do item on the agenda: pass a spending bill. The House and Senate will have until December 11th to pass the bill, or the federal government will shut down. Lawmakers are still debating another coronavirus relief bill as well. That could entail money for vaccine distribution and testing, as well as reopening schools and business relief. However, both parties remain divided on the details and the cost of such a bill.
The U.S. Supreme Court set to hear arguments in a census case today. The Trump administration is attempting to exclude undocumented immigrants from being tallied when congressional seats are reallocated nationwide next year. A federal panel issued an injunction back in September blocking the Commerce Department from carrying out the order. Now the justices will decide if it can be enforced. The hearing will be held by teleconference due to the coronavirus pandemic.
A new study by the Cleveland Clinic show women who work tend to have better memory later in life. More than 6,000 women between the ages of 16 and 55 participated in the 12-year study. Results show after the age of 60, memory decline was 50% greater among women who did not work. Dr. Jessica Caldwell specializes in women's brain health at Cleveland Clinic. She says staying active and challenging yourself will benefit you as you get older.
It doesn't matter if you take on that challenge when you're younger. So those women who worked when they were 16 and in their early 20s got just the same benefit as women who came back to work later. So it's not too late to get an extra challenge cognitively. It's really helpful for aging.
Dr. Caldwell says keeping your mind active may also help with preventing Alzheimer's disease, which affects women more than men.
The NBA pushing celebrations for the 2020 Hall of Fame inductees because of the pandemic. The league now says the ceremony will take place in May of 2021. Some of the inductees include Kobe Bryant, who died in a helicopter crash back in January, the San Antonio Spurs' very own Tim Duncan, and WNBA star Tamika Catchings.
In this morning's consumer news, today is Cyber Monday, and this year is expected to shatter records for online sales.
Comes after Black Friday, which looks look different amid the pandemic this year. Sarah Costa back in studio with more on that. Sarah?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, online sales on Black Friday hit new record as people filled virtual carts instead of real ones during the pandemic. Shoppers spent an estimated $9 billion on Black Friday just on websites alone. But the U.S. saw a 52% drop in people actually visiting brick and mortar stores. And that switch from in-store shopping to online shopping has many experts predicting a big Cyber Monday. In fact, many think the online sales record could be shattered today. Last year, Americans spent about $9.4 billion on Cyber Monday, and experts think it could increase by 35% this year. And some companies are poised to do better during the pandemic. Home goods and outdoor apparel stores are expected to see a big increase as more people spend time at home or try new outdoor activities. If you're looking for deals, there are plenty. You can just head to KSAT.com to see what some of the big retailers are offering. And although Small Business Saturday has already passed, it's never a bad time to support local businesses. If you have a favorite store, try buying products online instead of going to the store physically. Mark?
Thank you, Sarah. With all that online shopping, retailers are worried about an influx of orders which could cripple on time. FedEx is hiring 70,000 workers for the holiday season, while UPS will hire more than 100,000 temporary employees to get through the end-of-year rush. Best advice, plan ahead. Experts say shop and ship early, or better yet, buy online and pick up in store.
Two big consumer tech companies are getting set to hit Wall Street by storm. Airbnb and DoorDash could both go public before the end of the year. According to the Wall Street Journal, both companies have weathered the coronavirus pandemic and could see higher than expected values on the market. Airbnb is in the $33 billion range and DoorDash in the $28 billion range.
TikTok now has until Friday to finalize a deal to sell its U.S. operations. This month's initial deadline set by the White House has been pushed back not once but twice. President Trump ordered the China-based app to sell its U.S. holdings, saying it poses a national security risk. Currently, Walmart and Oracle proposed a joint bid to buy the U.S. operations, but has not yet been approved.
And if you can work remotely from anywhere, Hawaii wants you. State officials have launched a new campaign aimed at bringing more remote workers to the state. The first 50 people who are accepted after applying online will get free round-trip airfare. Just remember, there is a 4-hour time difference between San Antonio and Honolulu.
And I'm proud to announce I'm going to be reporting, or anchoring rather, from Maui starting on Monday.
Oh, awesome.
Next week.
I'll join you.
Yeah? Okay.
Beautiful weather.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Separate rooms, right?
Oh, well, of course.
Okay. 641, 44 degrees.
Bigger living spaces aren't for everyone. In fact, more people are opting for tiny spaces. After the break, we will see how the tiny home movement is expanding across the country.
The latest report from HomeAdvisor broke down the most popular states for the tiny home life.
HomeAdvisor scraped through Instagram for posts tagged with the hashtag tiny living and tagged somewhere in each state. So let's take a look at the top 8.
Starting off on the East Coast, North Carolina coming in at number 8. Business Insider referred to a 2019 memo from the North Carolina Department of Insurance, which said tiny homes are acceptable as permanent single-family dwellings in North Carolina, provided they meet the minimum requirements. They have to be at least 400 square feet. At number 7, we have Arizona, which actually had counties ease regulations for possible tiny home communities.
Ranked at 6 is Washington State, and no surprise, the city of Seattle, which has been dealing with the housing and affordability issue. Then in 5th place, we have Oregon, but fun fact, the city of Portland appears to be the most popular individual city for tiny homes.
At number 4, we have good old Texas. We have a slew of tiny home communities across the state, especially in and around Austin.
The bronze medal goes to Colorado, where there is even an annual Colorado Tiny House Festival.
And the state with the second most amount of tiny homes, according to HomeAdvisor's research, is Florida. Apparently, communities like Orlando Lakefront as a huge tiny home spot.
And the number 1 spot goes to California. There were high concentrations of tiny living posts tagged in Los Angeles, San Diego. Specifically, city officials throughout the state have turned to tiny home villages as solutions for the homeless crisis. Guys, back to you.
Time to check traffic at 6:46.
How are things looking now, Officer Marcus Trujillo?
Not bad, Stephanie, not bad. We are seeing some increases along Highway 90. There's Highway 90 Joe McMullen. You can see east and westbound lanes start to pick up in volume. I-10 and Crossroads also seeing a little bit more life as far as your traffic flow. The great news is no delays right there, and that traffic, that stalled vehicle, the last emergency vehicle pulling off from there. 281 and 410 up there by the airport. So far, traffic running smoothly.
Thank you, Marcus. Well, it's been a fantastic month of fundraising. No Shave November, and we have some fantastic news this morning. So far, KSAT has raised almost $9,000. Congratulations to everybody.
Yes. Thank you so awesome. Thank you for your donations so far. You have one more day to donate if you'd like to do so, but gosh, we really appreciate you stepping it up.
Send donations to no-shave.org. You look up KSAT on there. It's also out there on social media and KSAT.com. At last check, Mike Osterhage was still in the top spot for our team. Massey has slid into the number 2 spot, which now puts me at 3rd. And again, I'm happy. I want to get beat.
You want to get beat. But if you want to donate again, go to Mark's Facebook page.
Sure, why not? Yeah. But Team KSAT still in the top 5 in the whole United States for fundraising for this year's No Shave. Thank you again to all your generous donations.
Yeah, it's bragging rights for us, but it all goes to wonderful, wonderful causes, including St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. That money, so that's fantastic.
And now we're ready to shave.
My wife doesn't want me to.
And you're going to be shaved on SA Live today?
On SA Live, yeah. We're gonna do a segment there. So got the.
Is Fiona doing the shaving?
You have to be very nice today.
Actually, the gal that cuts my hair is also come on. So,
Okay, good.
yeah.
All right. Best of luck.
Yeah. So I'm scared of what I'm going to find underneath there. Anyway, great picture there. Travis Park, ready for Christmas, and Christmas trees all dressed up like the Texas flag. I love that. All right, do have some couple of clouds hanging around out there. As you can see, the sky is lightening up ever so slightly, but we still have the moon, which is in the process of setting. The full moon this morning, and just absolutely gorgeous. And there was actually a bit of an eclipse earlier this morning. We've got the freeze warning in effect till 9 o'clock, but it's just not looking like we're going to see a lot of freezing temperatures in portions of the hill country. It feels like it, but we've got this wind out there right now, and wind, obviously, it makes it feel colder, but that really prevents you from getting, with the thermometer readings, as cold as you can, because it keeps the atmosphere stirred up instead of allowing the very cold, dense, heavier air to settle down to the surface. Now, we've got some wind gusts up to 26 here in town. It's going to be breezier this morning than later on this afternoon. Still enough to where you're going to notice it, especially with temperatures only in the mid 50s here in town. It feels like 27 Lost Maples, 31 Bernie Stage, 35. Those are the wind chill readings, what it actually feels like. So yeah, jacket's a really good idea this morning and all day. As a matter of fact, all week long, basically, because we're going to keep temperatures on the cool side, very December-like all week long. So here's the, we've got a little bit of moisture aloft in the atmosphere. That's why some of those high wispy clouds out there. And then a few of those clouds are actually showing up out there to the west of us on the satellite picture. There's the system that gave us all the rain over the weekend. It was just a wonderful Saturday, wet and cool, fantastic. Picked up just over 1.25 inches out there at the airports. Boy, the most rain we've had, it seems like, in months around, well, literally in months around here, the most rain that we've had. Nothing really going on upstream for us. We were going to be staying, unfortunately, still on the dry side this week, but we're going to have some fantastic weather. And like I said, definitely jacket weather all week long. 50 today at noon, sunny, still kind of on the breezy side, and a few maybe high wispy clouds out there. And then later on this afternoon, a high temperature of only 55. The normal is 67. So we'll definitely be on the cool side of things, and we stay on the cool side all week long. Temperatures will come up to 62. By the way, we're looking at some freezing readings. Not a real hard freeze tomorrow, but just, barely dipping down, kind of for the record books type freeze. Tomorrow morning, 30 here in town, some upper 20s in portions of the hill country. Up to 62 then by Wednesday. Then we get a little reinforcing shot of some cooler air coming in here for the latter half of the week.
Nice, cool weather, but you guys are going to be protected any much longer.
I like what you said earlier. We're shaving at the wrong time. It's just we're about to get the coolest of the season, and we could use the insulation.
I don't know.
An extra scarf, maybe.
Yes, there you go.
Are you looking for a 1-day or 1-week extension?
No.
No.
Not
no.
you.
Didn't even hesitate. No.
I don't think boss upstairs is going to let that happen.
Probably not. 6:51, 44 degrees.
And coming up, new data is showing that the pandemic is making relationships difficult. Join us tomorrow on GMSA, where we look at ways to make your relationship stronger so you can get through the tough times together.
Outside with live cam, I call this a sunrise check. And
Nice.
On the other end of the spectrum is the moon setting right now over South Texas. You're watching GMSA.
In the news you need to know before you go, San Antonio police are searching for a shooter on the northwest side. Police say it happened on Vance Jackson near Jackson Keller around 11:30 last night. They say a man was shot in the arm through his sliding glass door. That man was rushed to the hospital where he is fighting for his life.
It's about 5 till. We need to get an update on traffic out there with Officer Marcus Trujillo.
And we have another an accident just coming in. So take a look, folks. This is northbound 35 at Top Line there. This is going to cause a little bit of an issue for some folks. As you see, we're seeing traffic backed up almost all the way to that 410 35 interchange. So once again, northbound 35 as you're approaching Top Line, huge delays right now.
Look at this almost sunrise. Sun's going to be coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Lots of clear skies out there. We've had a couple of high wispy clouds off to the west. Still have the freeze warning in the hill country. Temperatures now, Fredericksburg's down to 34. We're at 36 is there, Kerrville and Comfort. But we've got a good breeze, so we do have a wind chill temperature down to 30 in Kerrville, 36 here in town. And great looking day today, but it is going to stay on the chilly side, 55 for a high temperature.
And again, thank you so much for your No Shave November donation. Hospitalizations.
We really appreciate it. And we'll see you back here at 9. Have a great day, guys.